morning and welcome to
Chatroom!
And this is our online program where we will be talking about the hottest stories and social media dramas in Thailand. I'm Nad Bunak.
I'm Frank Kanshi.
I'm Morisala Sehan.
And it feels a bit cold today, right? Because it's raining outside.
Yes, heavily.
It just rains a lot today. And actually not just today, I think it's over the period because we're still in the ongoing raining season right now. Right?
Yes, we're still in this rainy season in Thailand. So we've noticed that it's kind of dark, especially during the evenings, and we have experienced rain like throughout the afternoon. So I'm pretty sure many people were like trying to get back home, trying to get through the traffic at this time as well.
Especially please be safe, be careful when you drive home or when you take public transportation to go home. And we will talk about this topic later on, of course, about rain and the infrastructure project planning in Thailand. But before that, we should talk about tourism, I think, at first. For millions of Chinese tourists, of course, Thailand was the happy land of water fights for Lantern Festival and delicious food. But how about now? Due to social media rumors and a blockbuster movie, the kingdom's image among many Chinese people is now one of dangerous illegality and seedy scam border compounds. Thailand's struggling holiday industry has been hit by viral social media rumors claiming tourists might be kidnapped and sent across the border to work in brutal scamming compounds in Myanmar or Cambodia. Despite only being released in August, the Chinese movie called No More Bets has become the third most popular film in China this year, raking in 3.8 billion yuan and supercharging online discussion about the dangers of visiting Thailand. The rumors grew so persistent that earlier this year, the Thai embassy in Beijing released a statement reassuring visitors that officials would take measures to secure tourist safety. The Thai government has implemented the visa-free policy, of course, to save the tourism industry for Chinese and Kazakhstani citizens from 25th September to next year, 29th February. Tourism Authority of Thailand government predicts that 2.8 million Chinese tourists will visit Thailand under the visa-free program, which would generate about 140 billion baht in revenue. So we talk about the Chinese movie called No More Bets. In the movie, it depicts, of course, the telecom scam. And actually on the screen right now, you can see Seta. That's the first day on 25th September that our Prime Minister, Seta Thavisin, went to Suvarnabhumi Airport to welcome the first flight, the first group of passengers from China, of course, to welcome them because they are really important for Thailand's economy to revitalize Thailand's tourism industry. But we can see about the Chinese movie trailer here because it's really important. You can see actually on the screen, No More Bets. It's a blockbuster in China, but which actually gives a nutshell about the telecom scam in Southeast Asia. And some people say that actually this movie takes the shot in Southeast Asia. It gives wrong image about Southeast Asia, of course, Thailand. On TikTok clip, some netizens, they talk about it's very dangerous to come to Thailand for tourism because some people might lose their organs.
Oh, organs? That's pretty harsh.
That's pretty harsh because of the telecom scam. Some people say that okay, if they come to Thailand, they will be kidnapped and maybe they go to some certain restaurants. After they drink all the alcohol or drinks, they might be fainted and they will be taken to Cambodia, to Myanmar. So that's the point here. But I think from the TAT, the Tourism Authority of Thailand, we always have the slogan, Amazing Thailand. Of course, it's to describe the tourism in Thailand about ancient temples, about, of course, the cultural trip here. But some people talk about it's a negative comment because after you experience amazing Thailand, you might be lost some of your organs. So
right. So
it's really dangerous, you think.
Yeah, so the main question is, is Thailand really dangerous for travelers? But if you ask me, it really depends on where it is. We have to say that even the safest countries can be dangerous for certain people. And the problem is that we always have to stay alert and stay vigilant at all times because anything could happen. But for the case of Thailand, I think it really depends on where you're going to because whenever you're shopping in a shopping center or traveling to like certain roads or certain streets, there's going to be threats like everywhere to begin with. So they have to be very careful and not to be so like lax in their safety.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
And actually, some analysts, they suggest that you need to have the emergency number when you go to one country. You should have all the emergency number, and when you go to certain countries, if you really meet some dangerous situation, just call the number. Of course, in Taiwan, actually, there are some opinions about traveling to Thailand. Actually, of course, starting from last year in Taiwan, we have kind of the news about the rumor that coming to Thailand, you will be transferred to Cambodia, you will be transferred to Myanmar, which is disinformation. And I think, of course, as what they said, emergency number is very important of your embassy or for your diplomatic office in Thailand.
Yes, and these hotlines are really important to begin with because whenever you travel to a different country, then you have these hotlines in handy so that you can seek help. But at the same time, we have to protect ourselves as well. So let's say like if you're scared of pickpocketing, you have to keep your valuables like to yourself all the time, not just like put it in a bag. And speaking of that, pickpockets are quite common in Thailand as well, not just in Paris or in other European countries. So we have to be careful. At the same time, when we talk about no more bets, it talks about the extreme side of Thailand. And if we overly emphasize that fact, that would scare all of the tourists as well. But like, even Hollywood movies have done that before to show the dark side of certain islands or certain cities, to show that there is something much more frightening than just the glory of certain landmarks. So I think whenever you're watching something, just bear in mind that that does not represent the entire country or the entire city. Because when you go to a city, of course we want to create like memories when we come back to our home countries, but then like sometimes we have to use our own judgment when we look at things. Even like the disinformation that is released on TikTok about Thailand, it doesn't represent everything as well, even though it is true, but it doesn't reflect the whole picture.
Yeah, I agree with you, Pinat, because like I think last month I went to Phuket, and you know, like Phuket, it's probably like one of the most attractions in Thailand, right?
Yeah.
And there are certain parts that are maybe not really friendly for the tourists, but the other parts, like the rest of that part, I mean, there's still beautiful nature, there's still nice people, local people, and food and all that stuff. So I agree with you that we can't just judge the book by its cover or just judge things based on just one perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the point actually. And as a foreigner staying in Thailand for 3 years, I haven't met any danger on the road or traveling to another provinces. So I think in Thailand, it's comparatively safe in comparison with Europe, in my opinion.
Yeah, but like if there are certain crimes such as pickpocketing or like stabbing, it can happen anywhere. It doesn't have to be in like a dead street.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere, even in shopping centers. There have been cases like this before. So we just have to stay vigilant and be careful at all times. Not just like, oh, you can put your belongings everywhere and then all of a sudden it got stolen.
Yeah, it's not that easy that you just put your belongings on.
Yeah, we're
on
just
the table.
saying.
Yeah, but Just be careful. That's what you said.
Yeah, I would like to add like another thing
Yeah.
on that No More Bet movie.
Yeah.
I mean, in 2011, there were a movie, like a Hollywood movie called The Hangover 2.
Yeah.
Well, this movie also showed some, negative impacts of Thailand, like more explicit like content of Thailand. Well, of course, right, it's towards some extension, both good and bad. And for the good part, actually, like more international companies, like in the film production, they were very interesting in, do more productions in Thailand as well. So there could be another good side of, having Thailand to promote it in that way. Yeah.
Well, Thailand has been used as locations for many blockbuster films already, including the beach. If we remember, the beach actually brought fame for Maya Bay as well, and that was why there are so many tourists coming into Maya Bay just to explore the beauty of the island, and thanks to this blockbuster film as well. And we can actually promote Thailand in a positive way through these blockbuster movies as well, and as well as Thai movies showing the good sides of Thailand to the world as well. So it's actually for us and blockbuster movies on the Hollywood side to help us promote the
good
beauty.
sides.
Yeah, the good sides and the beauty of Thailand.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually, there are still many other reasons that Thailand is like the best destination for foreigners as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can't deny that the movie has created some negative impacts for Thailand. But you know what? Thailand is still one of the best and favorite countries for the traveler to visit to. Well, today we are going to review the top 5 countries who love to visit Thailand. Well, according to the research from the Ministry of Tourism and Sports on September 18th, there were over 19 million tourists visiting Thailand from the 1st January to the 17th February 2023, which generated tourism income to 1.5 trillion baht to the country. Well, the first country who loves to visit Thailand is Malaysia. Well, according to the statistic, most Malaysian tourists come to visit Thailand in June, which is their long holiday. And it, in fact, takes just less than an hour to come to Thailand. And next is China. Well, as we know, Thailand has been the destination for Chinese tourists for a long time. So this time, because of the free visa for Chinese tourists to visit Thailand without having to go through all the visa process, Thailand will expect more Chinese tourists visiting the country in the beginning of the October, as it is a long Chinese holiday. The next one is South Korea. Surprisingly, well, it is not only Thais love to go to South Korea, but Koreans also love to visit Thailand as well. Their preferred period visiting Thailand would be in January, which is in Korean winter time. Also, the dish that is famous among Korean tourists is leng sap, or spicy and sour braised pork bone soup. Now, moving on to the next country, which is India. Well, Indians love to visit nature attractions in Thailand, such as mountains and beaches. Flying in Thailand wouldn't take that much time because Thailand is also close to India. Last but not least, Russia. Well, their preferred period for traveling is during January to February, which is also their winter time. So Thailand would be their destination to escape from the cold to the tropical and summer breeze. Now, so the question is, what are the other reasons for Thailand to be the final destination for foreigners?
Well, apart from the food and the beaches and mountains and the scenery, I think Thais are seen as very friendly and welcoming for many of the foreigners. And when you compare Thais to other nationalities, from their perspective, they feel that Thais are very well-mannered and respectful towards foreigners. So that is probably why many foreigners love to come to Thailand, because whenever they visit Bangkok, Phuket, or elsewhere in Thailand, they would feel that they receive some sort of courtesy from Thai people whenever they visit. So I think that is among the top reasons why people love to come to Thailand, aside from food and the scenery.
As a foreigner, it's true, because actually, whenever we step landing in airport, no matter it's Suvarnabhumi or Dong Mun, we always see the welcoming gesture, of course, the sunshine smile there from Thai. And of course, as what you said about food, about nature, about cultural, about ancient temples in Ayutthaya, I think more than that, it's about massage. For me, wellness care. And actually, according to one online media, Taiwan was in 2020, Thailand was the #1 for wellness retreats. So of course, many foreigners, including, as what you say, Chinese, Russian, they come to Thailand for wellness. It's not just for massage, maybe for wellness tourism too. They come here to receive good quality, but also acceptable cost for operations, for beauty, for everything. So actually, the market, Thailand's market in wellness, it's around 1 trillion baht. So it's actually a lot for Thailand, for Thai government, new Thai government, Sethatawi Singh's government, to push this market forward and enlarge it.
And it seems like the Thai government has put a lot of emphasis in tourism, and especially in wellness tourism, that has attracted very wealthy foreigners into Thailand as well. So we have a lot of strengths here, like the well-mannered people in Thailand, the wellness tourism. There are so many other things that have attracted foreigners into Thailand.
Yeah. And how about, what do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Another Thailand strength?
I think one of the thing is the visa process for other citizens from other country. For Thailand, it is quite easier comparison to other country, you know, because like, for example, like a free visa. So it would be a good choice for Chinese tourists to consider coming to Thailand because they don't have to go through a long process of, you know, requiring a visa. And as well as the Malaysia. Well, Malaysia, I think the reasons why Malaysia is one of the top country to visit Thailand is because it's easy for them to travel to Thailand. So first they fly, right, from their country, and second, they can actually enter through the border of Thailand in Songkhla. And I think the process and for the visa and traveling just so easier comparison to other countries.
Well, it's just like we're traveling, like for Thais traveling to Malaysia or Singapore, it's closer. So, and at the same time, apart from the distance that is closer compared to other countries, there are so many other things that attracted us to these countries as well, whether it's the food, the culture, or even like the atmosphere that is completely different to our home countries as well. That is why it seems like people in the same region would be attracted to each other. Like Thai people would go to Malaysia, Singapore, or neighboring countries like Cambodia, and other countries like neighboring countries would come to Thailand as well. Vietnam is also another popular country for Thais as well.
Yeah, as for foreigner, actually, I think it's, as what you said, it's very easy for us to apply for the visa. For me, I just go to the office in Thailand's office in Taiwan, and I just get the tourist visa only in a few hours, and I can just fly next day. Or I just do the visa on arrival, so I just arrive at Dong Mun or other international airports and just, you know, pay, of course, the fee, and I can get in. And it's very easy for us to travel here for 1 week or 2 week long holiday. It's very easy.
Right, and holidays are coming up next month as well. So among the most popular destinations for many Thais is none other than South Korea. However, there has been a recent incident where a Thai influencer who already arrived in South Korea but was denied entry despite the fact that she has been to South Korea like many times. And this has sparked debate on social media because some Thais are able to relate to this. So last week, an online influencer known as Biwaraporn revealed her unfortunate experience of being denied entry to South Korea, despite the fact that she has visited the country almost 10 times. So what you're seeing right here, these are the conditions that she had to go through while she was in the detention center in South Korea. So during her Facebook Live, she recalled her experience being detained in South Korea's immigration detention center, widely known among Thais as the Cold Room. And while she was there, she was detained for one night under very poor conditions. And she said she believes that she was deported from South Korea because immigration officers were still skeptical about her entry back in June, where she was hired to attend an event in which she was warned that she should enter South Korea with a working visa. But to avoid issues, the brand canceled the contract and changed to an invite instead, where she understood that the brand and the immigration had settled the matter. When we're talking about invites here, she explained that ever since she became a beauty blogger, she has been invited to attend events such as in South Korea, Japan, and the United States, in which she has never had any issues like this before. But this time around, she was there for a vacation, but ended up in a detention center as the immigration officers believe that she was there to work. So the question is, why is it getting more difficult for Thais to enter South Korea? So I think this is going to be a big question for many of those who love Korean culture. And we cannot deny the fact that it's mainly because of the increase of illegal migrant workers, which are really high among Thais. And we have heard that Thais are entering South Korea illegally, disguising themselves as tourists. And once they reach South Korea, they would like flee and then find a new job there. And this is something that we have heard really often. And we have a specific term for it, which is called pi noi, or like literally baby ghosts. So when they act as illegal migrant workers, of course, they are not documented. So that is why they compare these people like as if they're ghosts. And this is actually among the main reasons why it's getting more difficult for Thais to enter South Korea.
Yeah, and I think for Thai traveling outside into other countries, there are a lot of challenges to do, because actually I talked to my Thai friends, not just South Korea, because when they go to South Korea, of course, they have to apply for the visa.
Yep.
But for Europe, US, Australia, given that you've been there, you have to apply again. So it means that before, for example, when UK still was in the EU organization, so you just apply to France and you can travel to to UK, but right now you have to apply twice if you have to cross the border. So it's kind of like, as what you said, I think the question mark here is why Thai people was targeted all the time.
Well, it's because like the migrant workers from Thailand are increasing, and the illegal ones actually played a huge role, and it has affected the whole system there as well. And we have some interesting statistics, is that as of January this year, there are about 195,000 Thais living in South Korea at the moment, and over 75% of all Thais in South Korea are illegal residents, and that is a large number. And that is why Thais are being targeted whenever they step into South Korea at the airport. And most of the illegal migrant workers from Thailand would enter the agricultural and industrial sectors. And you will see most of the migrant workers from Thailand in these industries.
And that affect the whole picture of regular like traveler from Thailand to Korea, just like Bill. Because I heard that she traveled to Korea so many times before.
Like almost 10 times.
Exactly. And And for this recent time, I mean, for some Thai people, it just doesn't make any sense that she got detected in the cold room. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, I can feel this harsh conditions and all the, how do you say this, the difficulties that she had to go through, despite the fact that she has been there many times, but the fact that immigration officers are still skeptical with what she has done in the past, and all of a sudden, she was detained and then sent back to Thailand. That is really unfortunate.
As what you said, 190,000 Thai and 75% of them are illegal staying in South Korea. What's the reason? I think first, of course, is domestic market because, of course, we couldn't get enough paid from in Thailand, so they, of course, they have to flew to overseas to get more money. But secondly, this is the Thai government, of course, that the government should tackle with immediately how to give a raise of the minimum salary and minimum monthly wage.
Yes, that's
For us.
interesting. That's interesting for the bare minimum in Thailand.
Yeah.
Well, I saw some content on the internet, on the social media. They claim that Pinoy can get over 100,000 per month, and they can send that money back to Thailand. I mean, and
That is like a big gap here because like the minimum wage in South Korea is much higher than in Thailand. So let's say Thailand is about 300 baht. For over there is like already like 1,000, almost like 1,000 baht already. So that means if they work for 1 month, even as a farmer, they can get a huge sum of money to send them back to their families living in Thailand. That is why people are willing to take the risk to flee to South Korea or other countries that give them better pay.
And you know what? There are even like the courses for this preparation, like specifically, you know, they have even like prepared courses that train you for like the clothing, from the clothing to the visa process, and even how to talk to the staff there. I mean, it could get any like ridiculously for this, you know what I mean?
They're doing this so that it's easier for potential Thais to get away from being caught by the immigration officer. So there has been a time where these TikTok videos were viral as to how they managed to get away from the immigration officers. And that has gone viral, but at the same time, it has highlighted the problem of illegal migrant workers fleeing to South Korea.
Isn't that hideous, right? Because they must have the prepared courses for you to get through the immigration system there. But as what you said, there's different layer. As what the government right now targeted at the monthly salary, of course, 25,000 baht in Thailand. But as what you said, in South Korea, they can get 100,000
Yeah,
a month.
100,000.
That's a lot.
So they can send the money back to the family and they can save some money for themselves too.
Exactly.
Right, and we've just talked about a lot of serious issues. Now let's talk about something that we just talked about like earlier, is the heavy rain. I know that heavy rain is forecasted for the rest of this week according to the meteorological department, but while most of us would get stuck in traffic or have to get through the rain in order to go home, the show must go on for Thai police officers. So now let's take a look. So what you're seeing right here is the moment where police officers have to stand in the pouring rain as they took part in a ceremony to honor the outgoing National Police Chief, Police General Damrong Sakiti Prapat, and other police officers who are retiring this year. And the ceremony took place at the Royal Police Cadet Academy in the Nakhon province last night. And as you can see right here, police officers have to proceed with the guards of honor despite the pouring rain. Look at that. It is raining cats and dogs, but then the show must go on for the police officers. And you can see that these police officers are really devoted to their jobs. And despite the weather, everything's still goes like very smoothly.
Look at the thunder.
Yeah.
Honor to them, each of them, for the ceremony, of course, to show the respect to the country and to the individual too.
Right, and there is actually one video though where it actually saw like one of the police officers standing right there, and they had to deal with the thunderstorms, and that was like one of the viral videos since last night as well. So the question is, why do we have to risk ourselves in the rain? Just generally speaking.
Yes, firstly, because I take BTS a lot. So of course BTS SkyTrain, sometime in rainy season, I couldn't step out from the train. I just get through. Sometimes because I have to jump off at Sapan Kwai.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just take the train until Siam. Or maybe it's not raining anymore, so I just go to another side of the platform and go back again.
Oh, I think rain is going to be a hectic moment for commuters, whether you're going on BTS or whether you have to cross the roads. If you seriously have no choice, you just have to go through it. And this is the video I was talking about where, it was raining, it was pouring, but the police officers had to continue with their ceremony.
It's not raining. It's
Stormy. Exactly, that's the word.
It's like, it was like a thunderstorm, and
Oh my God. Is that the real person there?
It
at the
is,
left
yeah,
side?
it is. It is
Oh
a
my
real
God.
person.
Yeah.
Honor to him.
Well, no one ever thought that
Yeah.
people would even do that. Like, seriously. It's normally when you experience thunderstorms, we would just stay inside. Even if there's a ceremony, we would just postpone it or
Yeah.
just leave it for another hour until okay, the rain is gone, and then we just continue with the ceremony. But this is everything is stuck in the plan.
They cannot go back, right? Of course, they are policemen and military officer. And I think about the heavy rain in Thailand, it also caused Nam Thuan, flooding.
Yeah.
Flooding.
In Thailand, sometimes after raining, we see a lot of flooding on the road. I drive through Sapan Kwai and Mochit, and at that area, it's always flooding there after heavy rain. So I think it's about, go back a little bit to the serious topic. I think it's about the urban plan, how the Bangkok BMA, Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, and the central government actually they have to solve the problem of flooding in the city.
And persistent flooding has always been an issue in Bangkok, and many of the Bangkok governors from time to time have promised that they will fix the problem.
We can't.
But then we have to understand that we're in this era of climate change, where flooding occurs more often, heavy rain occurs more often, so urban planning needs to change as well to deal with the climate change and adapt to such changes as well. But then speaking of why do we have to risk ourselves in the rain, because we just have to go home.
Yeah, we just have to.
It's and if it's not at the end of the day, let's say if it's in the morning,
It's
if
fine.
you have to clock in at 9 a.m., it's we just cannot afford to be late. Even though people seem to be more understanding that, okay, you just got stuck in traffic because of the rain, but for some people it's not like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's you still have to come at 9 a.m. despite how difficult it is in terms of your journey. Some people are by the book.
Yeah.
Well, I think there are even memes on the social media. They say okay, if you are in your high school, you can just skip the day.
Yeah.
But if you are working, you cannot. You just have to go through the rain and
Yes.
you
Yeah.
go to work and clock it in.
Yeah, and that's the problem for many Thai workers, especially office workers as well, where they have to clock in and clock out, and then if you don't clock in by a certain time, you will get some sort of warning or punishment. And that's the sad truth for office workers in Thailand.
And And in the evening, we couldn't just sleep in office or sleep in the studio, right? We still have to go home. And sometimes actually the rain lasts around 3 to 4 hours. How could we just, stay in office?
Yeah, and then like we just have to deal with the traffic, or at least if you are really stuck in traffic, you just bring your phones and then just record the flooding, record the heavy rain, and just post it on TikTok and complain about it.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that is
hopefully
something that
someone
we
sees.
could do.
Yeah. Okay, now let's move on to the next topic. Now, let's talk about the mental health. Well, according to the mental health department, Thais who evaluate their mental health most often are those aged 20 to 29. And these people are experiencing burnout or at risk of depression at the most compared to other age groups. This information simply indicates that the younger generation are becoming more concerned about their mental health as well as their overall well-being. Mental health is actually becoming a very big and important issue around the world, especially during the pandemic where many people were stressed and under a lot of pressure. This is why many people, especially the newer generation, are reprioritizing their mental health and their well-being a lot more. And it has become the top factor when considering their careers. So the question is, why are younger Thais becoming more depressed?
I think that's a really tricky question here. So maybe there are several factors to blame. One of them is how youngsters are closely connected to social media. So they might be put into a situation where they often compare themselves to others, seeing someone having an extravagant life, they're traveling around the world or having a happy job or happy family, or they have bought something very extravagant. So people felt this jealousy a lot more. And sometimes when they compare themselves, they would feel like, am I not good enough, or have I not worked hard enough? And what did they do to earn all these things? But they don't really realize that people's lives are not identically the same. So it's like you cannot just compare your life to anyone's life, because people's conditions are quite different. Their backgrounds are different. So let's say if you see someone from a rich family, they have everything. So that's why they can afford these things. And why would you compare ourselves to these people then? That is one thing that can be really toxic.
This is one of the effects of social media, right? Because it's really important, as what you said, everyone has their own conditions. We see on social media, maybe this individual has extravagant watches, cars, everything, iPhone 15. But the person has to go through his challenges or her challenges in life. That's very important. Other than that uncertainty, I think it's about, as what you said, how to socialize with people. Because right now, most of youngsters, they use social media to talk to people, to communicate with people. But how about in the reality? If there's conflicts in real life, in school, they might have bullying in their life. They might be very difficult to make connection with other classmates in the classroom. So that's the reason why I think, of course, social media is good for us, but there's some negative effect too.
We have to remind people that social media doesn't reflect people's lives entirely. It just we have to always remember that whenever someone posts something on social media, they would normally post their highlights of the life, not the mundane activities of their life. So therefore,
And always good side.
yeah, the good sides, the positive sides, and probably manipulated sides of themselves as well. So we cannot judge people from that only, because that is not the whole picture, not the whole story of one person. Like, for example, if someone can afford like a luxury car, how hard does it take for them to reach that level? But like, even though it's hard to compare, because like if you talk about rich families, of course it's easy to buy a new car. But like for certain people, it's not like that. They have to work twice as hard, 10 times as hard to get a luxury car, but you don't know that particular journey they had to go through. So that sort of pride is kind of different to begin with. And not everyone is going to understand that journey. No one's going to talk about the entire journey on social media to begin with.
Some underlying challenges too. So those, as what you said, the challenges under the mat, no one will gonna reveal the mat for you like, okay, I have to work 18 hours a day, I have to work for 3 jobs so I can get this luxurious brand, right? So actually, there are many challenges in our life. We couldn't just believe what the social media show us.
Right.
Yes. Speaking of social media, I agree with you too that social media these days put a lot of pressure on the younger generation.
Yep.
Well, first thing is maybe like what is it, like the goods, like the luxury goods and products. I mean, if you think like in reality, is this something that necessary for your life? You know, like the luxury things on the social media could be a big factor that manipulate other people to follow. You know what I mean? So I think that could lead to the body image dissatisfaction. So it would of course, right, lead to mental health and just as like the depression as well. And I think one thing is that the reasons why younger generation become more aware and concerned about their mental health, it is because it is a real deal, like a real deal. Because, you know, mental health can happen to everyone, your loved ones or your friends, your colleagues, and some people, they don't even want to talk about themselves in that way.
Right, but the good thing is that mental health is no longer treated as a taboo anymore. So people are more open to talking about mental health. They're not afraid to seek consultations anymore. They're not afraid to speak up about it anymore because people are now aware that this is something that really needs to be discussed. And the bottom line is that everyone deserves to live a happy life. And if they know that there is something wrong with them, they will fix it. Like definitely. Or even things like parenting nowadays, if they realize that mental health is a big issue, they will pay more attention to their children a lot more rather than just focusing on results. Because if we go back during the old days, parenting would be focused on results such as getting good grades, having achievements, or getting awards like sports awards or music awards. But they don't really focus on the self-esteem, like deep self-esteem of their own children. And that is why children are pressured to achieve something to gain self-esteem, but not necessarily teaching them to have self-esteem from within, even though they do not achieve things that people are achieving.
Following on your point, according to UNICEF, UN, International Children Fund, in 2021 they did a survey about bully and student health survey. So 17.6% of adolescents between 13 to 17 years old had considered self-harmed action. So as what you said, of course, I remember when I was young, and if I talk about, or some children, they talk about mental health issue, parents, they would think, oh, you do not have strong mental health. You shouldn't talk about this. You should study hard. You should learn everything in the school. But right now, in this era, of course, we can talk about that. So I think it's not just about inner strength. It's about the outside environment too. Because
the atmosphere.
Yes, the economic situation, post-pandemic, low pay, inflation, everything is so expensive right now. So for young people, of course, they will think about, okay, after graduation, where should I go? Can I get good pay? Or should I fly to South Korea to get a job there? So that's the point here.
So I think it's a good sign where people are being more aware about mental health and are willing to discuss and to seek help a lot more. And hopefully, the suicide rates will actually decrease as well, especially when the awareness is improving around the world as well. And that wraps up tonight's edition of Thai PBS World Chat Room. Join us in our chat room every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Thai PBS World Facebook and YouTube Live. And don't forget to follow us on social media and our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest updates about Thailand as well as analyses. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ